The second way of interacting in Spanish would be using the reflexive pronoun. For that, we're going to use me for I, te for you, se for he, she, or you formal, nos for us, os for you plural, commonly used in Spain, se for you plural, and they. The reflexive pronoun usually will change something of the verb. It will either change the meaning of it, will emphasize the action of the verb, or will apply the verb to oneself, meaning apply the action to oneself. Here I have an example of the regular way of using the verb ir, to go, and I'm saying I'm going to Buenos Aires, or I go to Buenos Aires. Yo voy a Buenos Aires. If I use the reflexive pronoun, I would be saying yo me voy a Buenos Aires. What I'm doing here, because I'm using the verb ir, remember that this changes depending on the verb, okay? It will change the meaning of the verb in this case. It doesn't emphasize the action, and I'm not applying the action to me. What it does when I use reflexive pronoun with the verb ir, it changes the meaning. Instead of saying now I go to Buenos Aires, what I'm saying here is I leave for Buenos Aires, if you want to translate it. So this is something that commonly is used by everybody. We will usually use the verb ir either by itself in the regular way when we say to go, and whenever we're going to say to leave, to depart, we would use the reflexive pronoun right before. And that happens with affirmative sentences, negative sentences, and questions. Okay? Now let's try another verb so I can show you another option with the reflexive pronoun. What I'm saying here is I'm using the verb comer, and I say in the regular way, I say I eat a salad, yo como una ensalada. But if I put the reflexive pronoun in front of the verb, I would be saying yo me como una ensalada, and that really emphasizes the action. Okay, I'm not changing the meaning. I'm applying the action to myself. Yeah, sure. I can say I eat the salad myself. It could be translated like that as well. But the most important thing is that I'm emphasizing the action of the verb, in this case, comer. Okay, so I'm eager to eat the salad. I really want to do it. I decided to eat the salad. In any context that you might be and you're going to use it because you really want to do it, you're going to use the reflexive pronoun. And that is something taken from real Spanish, actually. People usually say that. Okay? And the reason why comer is not commonly used, said, that mostly teachers, they don't say that comer is a reflexive verb, is because in theory you're not supposed to use it like that, okay? But in real life, in real Spanish, people say it. People say it all over, and they use not only comer, but they also use other verbs like beber, to drink, to take, also tomar, and many, many verbs. So bear in mind that many, many verbs can be used with the reflexive pronoun, and depending on the verb, they will change the meaning, emphasize the action, or apply the action to oneself. So let's try one with applying the action to oneself. I'm going to use the verb poner in this case, and I'm going to say yo pongo la chaqueta. I put the jacket. Okay, that's the only meaning of that sentence. And if I say the same thing using the reflexive pronoun, what I would be saying is I put on the jacket. To put is different than to put on, okay? In this case, I'm putting onto me the jacket. So this will apply the action to oneself. Commonly used with many verbs is to say the reflexive pronoun to apply the action to oneself. Okay? And one little note about reflexive pronoun is that always the pronoun has to be in sync with the conjugation of the verb, meaning that if I'm going to use pongo, I'm automatically going to say me. Let's say if I use pones for tú, I'm saying tú. Me pones la chaqueta wouldn't be right because it's not reflexive. It has to be te. Tú te pones la chaqueta. What we're saying here is that you put on the jacket, okay? And always the pronoun and the verb have to be in sync, okay? Now, another thing about reflexive pronouns is that it's commonly used with reciprocity, between people. If we say nosotros nos miramos al espejo, and I'm using the verb mirar, to look, or to watch also. Nosotros nos miramos al espejo means we look ourselves in the mirror. Okay, so each one of us is looking at the mirror and we're looking to ourselves. But if we say, let's say, nosotros nos miramos only, that means we look to each other. Okay, so whenever you want to say to each other with any verb, you are going, probably, you're going to use reflexive pronouns. This can be used with any verb, like nos hablamos, we talk to each other. Nos vemos, we see each other. That's that's common greeting in Spanish actually. When you say bye, instead of saying bye, you just say nos vemos. That's another way of saying goodbye. So it is actually very common to apply the reflexive pronoun to plural conjugations, either we, you plural in Spain, or you plural and they. Okay, so you can say instead of nos vemos, they see each other, se ven, ellos se ven, or just se ven. Okay, so I hope reflexive comes in handy for you and that you use it often with many verbs. What I suggest you to do is um, pick a verb from the dictionary and then start practicing it. Just say one sentence in the regular way and try to say the same sentence in the reflexive way, and then check with your teacher if it really works or not, and if in real life we use it or not. Okay, what I usually tell students is just keep trying, and try to apply reflexive a lot whenever they want to emphasize an action, sometimes changes the meaning, or to apply an action to oneself. Okay, so now we can go to the third option of ways of interacting in Spanish.